Brandon back. Time for more SexxxPerTease. Today's question is, can a couple move past physical altercations? Well, one statistic that I've realized, and like pretty much every gay couple I've ever known of, especially like all the gay couples with like a person of color, is like everyone's gotten into at least one physical fight with their partner, which is really like sad and disturbing if you think about it, but it's just that common, like physical altercations in same-sex relationships. And I feel like it's something people usually don't really talk about because, well, a lot of aspects of same-sex relationships do often go ignored, but it's just like such a taboo topic that like people don't want to talk about how they got in physical fights with their partners. And like I've gotten physical fights with my ex, and literally all my friends have also gotten physical fights with someone they dated, and it's just like that common. And I do think, I guess in terms of like heterosexual relationships, like men are taught to never hit women, even though domestic violence is super common and happens. I just feel like it's something that people know, like, you shouldn't do this, don't do this, and I do think maybe that's a reason why, like, I hope to think that most like heterosexual relationships don't have domestic violence, or that men would feel like too much guilt about actually hitting their female partner. But like in same-sex relationships, when you're both like the same sex, like you get mad and like you like fight each other, and then it's like fighting each other isn't like, I guess I never really imagined that it would happen to me, or that I would get in a physical fight with the person I was dating, but it happened, and it's happened to people I knew, and like I know it's already happened to them, and just like it's really like disturbing, but it's really like when you're in the moment, you're just like feeling the anger, and then it just like boils over, and then you're like fighting each other. It's just like, it's like rock bottom, because it's like a point that you realize like you never thought this would happen, like a point that you never wanted to get to, but then it does happen. And it's like, it doesn't mean that your relationship is abusive, or like it's abuse, but it's not like one person's like beating the other up all the time. It's kind of just like you get into these fights that become so volatile and toxic that you do boil over into fighting, and like it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh my god, the relationship's over, because like there were multiple physical altercations, and it's like you keep thinking like this will be the last time, things will never get this bad again, and then it does, and it keeps happening. So I do think like this is a really hard topic. I do think that a couple can move past physical altercations, because I've had it happen, but I do think that in a way you can't move past it, because like once you open to the door to that happening, that things become that volatile and toxic, that you are getting physical fights, that it will happen again, because it did happen again. I did think every time would be the last time, but it kept happening. Like it wasn't like a weekly or daily occurrence. It was like maybe something like every other month, or like there were maybe like 3 or 4 of them, and like it's just a rock bottom point. But I do feel like you maybe can't move past it with the person that you are in a physical altercation with. And do you think like you'll know better for your next relationship that this is something that I can never tolerate, and that it can never happen again in my next relationship? Because I do feel like that now, that when things got to that physical fighting point, that it would get better. It never did. It kept fighting. It kept like happening every now and then. It just got worse and worse. I do feel like in that case you have to let it go if you are getting in fights with like the same person. But then like if you're getting in fights with every relationship, clearly you have a major problem. Because like, I mean, I've only had one relationship, but I do feel like if I ever got to the point where like I was fighting, or if a guy even like lunges at me or like swings at me, like it's over, I'm done. Because I've learned from my previous relationship where this did happen, and I know that I will never tolerate or accept this in a relationship ever again. So I do feel like you can move past it personally with yourself to know that this can never happen in my next relationship, that I will never get in a physical fight with the person that I'm dating. But in your current relationship, if this is something that's happened more than once, because I feel like if it happens once, I do feel like I hope that it can just be a one-time thing. Like I want to be the person that's like, you can hope like one physical fight doesn't mean like it's always gonna happen, but in reality it's like it does happen again. Once you take it that far, like it happens again and again and again, and I wanna hope that's like it can be a one-time thing, you learn from this one mistake, it's never gonna happen again. But the truth is, in my experience, my personal life, just thinking about like everyone I know's relationships, like it happens over and over. So I do feel like once you make it clear that this is something that you won't tolerate or deal with again, you really have to set that hard line, which is really hard to actually do, that you're going to be like, if this person ever puts their hands on me, I'm done, I'm walking away, I can't accept this. You really have to do it. If it ever happens more than once, it really is just gonna keep happening over and over again, and there really is no like coming back from it. Like, I do feel like you can maybe avoid it in a next relationship because you learn from the previous relationship, but if it's a current relationship and it's happened definitely more than once, that it's always gonna pop up again, and that physical fights will be a common occurrence. So I guess to answer your question, can a couple move past a physical altercation in a relationship? If I had to choose between yes or no, I would say no, just because, speaking from my own experience, if it gets that volatile, it's gonna happen again. So learn from it, make sure it doesn't happen in your next relationship, but let the current one where you are fighting each other go. Thanks for joining me for more SexxxPerTease.